from a half-true story by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Over 2,300 years ago, Atlantis has remained a contentious subject in the scientific and exploratory world. All day long, various theories have been proposed about its origins, location, and how this legendary continent suddenly vanished overnight. Some believe Atlantis was the dwelling place of ancient gods, while others refer to it as the sanctuary of ancient extraterrestrial beings. For thousands of years, people have been searching for this city as if it were a treasure buried deep in the ocean. So, what have we found? And when will the truth about Atlantis be revealed? Are we simply wasting our time? Everything you need to know, want to know, and should know about the Atlantis myth will be revealed in today's video from Mysterious World. An ancient legend, the ultimate mystery, a myth spanning millennia. The legendary Atlantis concealed its secrets for 1,000 years. The continent of Atlantis, a once great and dominant ancient civilization, once ruled the ancient world. However, it came to an abrupt end after a catastrophe, captivating human imagination for over 2,000 years. The story of Atlantis can be traced back to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who introduced it around 360 BC, or more precisely. In Plato's dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Atlantis plays a significant role in these conversations. According to Plato's description, the city of Atlantis was a vast island that had existed long before his time. About 9,000 years before then, Atlantis received divine protection from the sea god Poseidon in Greek mythology. Plato's account of the island states that it was larger than Libya and Asia combined, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, known today as the Strait of Gibraltar. It was situated in the vast Atlantic Ocean, outside the Pillars of Hercules, which equates to the modern-day Strait of Gibraltar. This location had favorable weather conditions and was well suited for trade and navigation. Atlantis developed a highly advanced civilization, excelling particularly in its powerful military forces, especially its naval capabilities. They expanded their influence significantly across vast territories in North Africa, Europe, and even as far as Tyrrhenia. Despite its significant cultural and military achievements, the ultimate fate of Atlantis was sudden and catastrophic. In a single night, around 9,600 years before the present, a cataclysmic flood, accompanied by devastating earthquakes, led to the complete submersion of the island into the depths of the ocean, disappearing forever. The story of a grand island with a mighty empire that suddenly collapsed and vanished overnight may seem implausible. Many regard Plato's account as fictional and believe that the island was purely a product of his imagination. Furthermore, Plato's description of the island's demise is filled with mythological elements, suggesting that he used the story as a moral allegory to caution humans against wrongdoing and divine retribution. Some speculate that the ancient Greek philosopher created Atlantis as an idealized civilization to illustrate the need for people to adhere to divine laws and moral values. By doing so, they would avoid divine punishment. To this day, no official records confirm the existence of Atlantis. However, over the centuries, some have insisted that Atlantis is more than just a legend. It is a real, historical place. It was only at the end of the 19th century that the concept of Atlantis as a possible historical location emerged. In 1882, a French writer named Ignatius Donnelly published his book Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, in which he argued convincingly that a highly advanced civilization just have existed in the past. This civilization would be necessary to pass on the achievements of the ancient world, such as metallurgy, language, and agriculture. If it depended solely on human efforts in ancient times, there wasn't enough sophisticated technology to achieve accomplishments of this magnitude. The author imagined that over 10,000 years ago, the water level of the Atlantic Ocean wasn't as deep as it is today. So, he described a continent submerged due to the sea flooding at the exact location that the philosopher Plato mentioned in the Atlantic Ocean, just outside the Pillars of Hercules, also known as the Strait of Gibraltar. Long after oceanography and plate tectonics advanced, researchers found inconsistencies in the previous theory, but some still continued to explore, perhaps mainly because it coincided with the location that the philosopher Plato mentioned. Atlantis was right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It sparked inspiration from various authors, who later expanded on his theory and added their own speculations about where Atlantis might have existed. One of these authors is Charles Berlitz, who wrote many books deciphering mysterious phenomena. In the 1970s, Berlitz claimed that Atlantis was a real continent located off the coast of the Bahamas and had become a victim of the Bermuda Triangle. In other words, Atlantis had genuinely been swallowed up like the airplanes or ships passing through this enigmatic area. Supporters of this theory pointed out that structures resembling artificial walls and streets were found offshore in Bimini, although scientists assessed these structures and concluded they were natural rock formations. Another theory suggests that Atlantis had truly been buried under layers of ice. It's based on the work of Professor Charles Hapgood, author of the book Earth's Shifting Crust, published in 1958. Hapgood proposed that about 12,000 years ago, Earth's crust shifted, causing a previously temperate continent to move to the south and become an ice-covered one. This continent is seen as the homeland of an advanced civilization, but the climate suddenly changed to an ice age, leading to the extinct the Atlantean people and the submergence of their splendid city. Hapgood's theory arose before a full understanding of the plate tectonics field was achieved, so his notion of crustal displacements later became a baseless belief. A more recent hypothesis about Atlantis involves a highly developed civilization on the Aegean Islands and Thera of Greece over 4,000 years ago. This civilization, called the Minoans, is believed to be the first great European civilization that constructed grand palaces, paved roads, and was the first in Europe to use a written language. However, during the peak of their power, they suddenly vanished from history. This notion has given more credibility to the idea that there was a connection between this vanished great civilization and the Atlantis continent that Plato talked about. Charles A. Pellegrino was the author of the book Unearthing Atlantis, published in 2001. According to this book, around 1600 BC, a massive earthquake caused the volcanic island of Thera to erupt, spewing 10 million tons of ash and gas into the atmosphere. However, the massive tsunami following the volcanic eruption was enough to wipe out the cities of Minoan, Crete throughout the region on day 13. This catastrophe was followed by invasions by people from the Greek mainland. Nevertheless, it's a fact that throughout history, most historians and scientists have concluded that the accounts of philosopher Plato about the lost kingdom of Atlantis were purely fictional. According to this argument, the ancient Greek philosopher concocted the story of Atlantis as a reflection of his idealized concept of a utopian society. The story of its demise served as a warning about the hubris of humans and the retribution of the gods. No records say that Atlantis ever existed outside of Plato's dialogues, and there are no mentions in any of the numerous ancient Greek texts. Furthermore, while the fields of oceanography and marine mapping have made significant advances to this day, no traces of such a civilization have been found. To return to reality, the only way to conclusively end the debates about Atlantis is to either discover it by diving into the ocean and searching, or by draining the ocean to bring the mythical city to light for verification. Indeed, we need both theoretical and actual archaeological evidence. With human knowledge advancing, it's essential to continue to explore, but so far, we have not found anything to confirm the existence of a civilization like that. To sum it up, most historians and scientists have concluded that Plato's accounts of the lost kingdom of Atlantis are purely fictional. According to this theory, the ancient Greek philosopher invented the story of Atlantis as an expression of his idealized notion, and the story of its downfall was a moral warning about the arrogance of humans and the punishment of the gods. There are no texts that mention Atlantis ever existing, outside of Plato's dialogues or in any of the various texts from ancient Greece, while oceanography and the efforts to map the ocean floor have made significant advancements to this day. There is no evidence of a civilization like that. Returning to reality, the only way to conclusively resolve the debates about Atlantis is to either discover it by diving into the ocean. To sum it up, most historians and scientists have concluded that Plato's accounts of the lost kingdom of Atlantis are purely fictional. According to this theory, the ancient Greek philosopher invented the story of Atlantis as an expression of his idealized notion, and the story of its downfall was a moral warning about the arrogance of humans and the punishment of the gods. There are no texts that mention Atlantis ever existing, outside of Plato's dialogues or in any of the various texts from ancient Greece. However, in recent years, some intriguing discoveries in deep oceans around the world have sparked new debates about Atlantis and other sunken cities. Let's take a journey to a remote location in the waters of Japan, where the sea is gradually receding from Yonaguni Island. This has revealed an extraordinary and colossal structure that may have been constructed by an ancient advanced civilization or is simply a natural formation that evolved over time. Yonaguni Island. This area is treacherous due to strong currents and continuous storms, but these challenges did not deter a group of brave divers and researchers, among them a pioneer and courageous diver named Kihachiro Aratake, who made a discovery in 1986 that left the world astonished. Aratake was diving in these waters to study a location ideal for observing sharks for research purposes. However, he stumbled upon something remarkable, a massive underwater monument, which consisted of peculiar rock formations resembling terraced fields. This site was truly extraordinary, as the underwater site spanned an area equivalent to 5 soccer fields. The structure consisted of stone walls rising from the seabed, with some reaching as high as 8 stories. Perfectly carved steps were neatly arranged along the walls, leading upwards from the seafloor. Various rock formations, polished to an astonishing degree, added to the sense of wonder. Clearly, these features were not natural and showed signs of human craftsmanship, but what were they? And what civilization might have created them? Could this be a new piece of evidence pointing to the legendary lost city of Atlantis? The professor's research. This discovery attracted attention from divers, journalists, historians, and archaeologists alike. They all shared a common question: what were these structures? And could they be a new piece of evidence for the existence of an ancient advanced civilization or the lost city of Atlantis? One of the leading marine geologists in Japan, Professor Masaaki Kimura, embarked on extensive research in this area. After years of studying the formation of these ruins, he came to a startling conclusion. These structures were the remnants of an ancient advanced civilization, a city that had sunk due to earthquakes and other catastrophic events approximately 12,000 years ago. Professor Kimura's research revealed not only the intricately carved stone structures, but also clear signs of human craftsmanship. These included etched symbols on stone tablets and various carved rock formations representing different animals. Moreover, in addition to the underwater relics near Yonaguni Island, significant findings have been made to the west of this location. In 1990, researchers discovered a massive underwater pyramid constructed from stone blocks. This pyramid was 183 meters wide and 27.43 meters tall, and it had 5 levels, with smaller pyramids nearby. The layout and features of this pyramid were reminiscent of ancient architectural structures. These underwater discoveries have ignited a new wave of interest and debates regarding the possibility of lost ancient civilizations, such as Atlantis. While more research is needed to definitively confirm the origin and purpose of these underwater structures, they have undoubtedly added a fascinating dimension to the ongoing exploration of our world's hidden past. Further discoveries resembled what appeared to be a road encircling the main structure. Afterward, more long roads, grand avenues, large terrace structures, colossal stone blocks intricately carved, and meticulously crafted stone gates were found. All of this contributed to a sense of architectural unity that had never been witnessed before. It became apparent that this was relatively intact evidence of an ancient prehistoric city. Other remnants included stone-built structures that resembled large caverns, surrounded by columns. This, too, made a significant impression on archaeologists. They found a statue head, and its facial features remained very distinct, similar to other stone heads found in Peru. Around the massive statue head, groups of statues were discovered. This indicated that the builders of these underwater ruins were part of a very advanced civilization. Furthermore, it's noteworthy that there are no traces of limestone in the area. This means that the structure was once above sea level. Up to now, no historical documents mention any civilization in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. If they do, it can only be the legendary Atlantis. What we have just witnessed is so astonishing in its precision and grandeur that everything points to the lost continent of Atlantis, the one we have been seeking. However, whether this is Atlantis or not, it is something that no one dares to affirm. There is still no consensus on the extent and geographical location of Limoia. Many scientists even deny the existence of this continent in the past. However, there is some evidence suggesting that Limoia once existed, stretching up to 8,000 kilometers from north to south and 5,000 kilometers from east to west. This means that Limoia extended from the Indian subcontinent to the Australian continent. One of the pieces of evidence for the existence of Limoia is the presence of similar plant species found only in the southernmost regions of the continents. This indicates that there must have been a land bridge between the continents, which some scientists believe was Limoia. So, what about the inhabitants of Limoia? Were they really up to 3 meters tall, with strange blue skin, as described in genetic myths? Currently, there is no archaeological evidence of the people of Limoia. However, some insights from deciphering the ancient texts of various extinct civilizations suggest that the people of Limoia had reached a high level of technological advancement. They lived in transparent roofed houses and had a deep connection with nature. It's believed they had to spend 21 years learning the laws of the universe before reaching adulthood at 28 years of age. One of their unique customs was a challenging premarital ritual, demonstrating their deep affinity with nature. While there's no concrete archaeological evidence of the people of Limoia, many believe they may still exist to this day, living deep beneath the Earth's surface and emerging at opportune times. However, whether it's Atlantis or Limoia, I firmly believe that in ancient times, there were references to an entirely different, highly advanced race compared to us. The lands they inhabited can be considered true paradises that anyone would want to set foot on. The disappearance of these mythical continents might not necessarily be due to the submergence of land by the sea. It could have been a mysterious exodus conducted by these enigmatic people, who might still exist over time. Thank you all for taking the time to watch the video about Atlantis and sharing your curiosity and passion with us. We hope that this video has provided you with fascinating insights into one of the world's greatest mysteries. To continue producing high-quality videos and exploring more intriguing topics, we greatly appreciate your support. Please hit the like button, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. These small actions can help us create even more exciting content in the future. We are truly grateful for your support and interest. Please stay tuned with us to explore more mysteries and wonders around the world. Thank you for being with us.